Hi everyone, this is Grace, and today I'll be walking you through how I made this sweet beginner Halloween set. So let's go. We are making 12 different designs today in 17 minutes. Unheard of. That's like not even a minute and a half average for each cookie. That is my kind of beginner set, or really any set, okay? So if you've watched Halloween Cuties, that was my other Halloween set this year, or Halloween class. I used the same set of cutters for both classes, and I wanted to make two classes, two very different skill levels with the same set of cutters. So this is my spider for this beginner version. Now, the beginner version uses a 1 consistency outline and flood. The more advanced one uses a 2 consistency outline and flood. Why are we doing 1? Well, my friends, the fewer the consistencies, the less time it takes to prep. It's also more forgiving in the application. Like, you'll see me do it more in other places, but if you don't get the outline quite right on the first try, no problem. No problem, my friends, because you can just use your scribe and fix that. I mean, look at that, a minute and 15 seconds. Maybe it was basically more like a minute, and we got one done. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Um, this here, so this is a tombstone and a ghost in the other set. This is a ghost, and this one, I guess this could also be a tombstone, but I'm just using this as a vessel to put a cute little spider web. That's it. Nothing fancy. You can see here I am not flooding all the way to the edge, okay, my friends? When you're doing 1 consistency, do not flood all the way to the edge, okay? When you're doing 2 consistencies, you can go all the way to the edge because you are outlining it with a piping consistency, letting that dry, and then flooding. By not flooding all the way to the edge, because, right, these cookies are pretty flat, but they're not completely flat. So if you don't flood all the way to the edge, then you give yourself some grace, some leeway room for the icing to naturally spread out a little bit, okay? So let's, what are we doing here? This is the simple spider web. We're just doing 3 lines. I don't know. My mom always taught me when designing, do things in odd numbers. Don't do 4, do 3 or 5. So here we are with 3. Keeping it real simple, pulling that line before the line starts, and then cleaning off our scribe after every pull. And there we go with another cookie. Like, so fast. I love that for us. All right, number 3. This is the pumpkin. So every cookie, every cookie shape has 2 designs because it's only 6 cutters with 12 designs, y'all. The more advanced class has 13 designs because it just felt appropriate for Halloween. But this one is good. For the pumpkin, we're doing 3 sections here. In the more advanced one, we do 5. So we're doing something called flooding in sections, which means you do alternating sections so that they crust in between and then there's separation in between the icing. Because if we just flooded these all at the same time, even if we like did the center first and then did the sides, it may look different for the first 30 seconds, but believe me, it will suddenly melt together and you're like, wait, but I meant to make them look separate, not all one blob. This is called flooding in sections. And then we let that crust again, usually for like 10 to 20 minutes. We're going to add in the stem, super simple little stemmy stem. And there we go. Next up, this is the bat. So this is a bat and a cat. And again, not flooding all the way to the edge. To make this easier, we are just flooding the whole thing in one go. We're not doing the ears separately. We're not doing cutouts for the ears. Doing it all in one go like this is just so much faster and easier. And we love that for us, okay? I decided, so also with my beginner sets, I do a limited color palette. So we're doing 4 colors here: white, orange, green, and purple. Um, with all of 99% of my sets, I have white. And obviously it's Halloween, so we need orange. um, and then why did I choose green? I guess I picked green because of the poison apple. And I wanted to mix things up a little and add in purple. A very common Halloween color palette is what I've used here, plus yellow and black or gray. I didn't want to use black or gray for this set because I wanted to make the colors really easy. And all of these colors are straight out of the bottle. I might have just lied there. I did. I'm sorry. I just lied a little bit. Um, the green, I believe, has some extra yellow in it, but oh my God, don't quote me on that. It's definitely in the workbook for the class, which, if you're curious, go check out the link in the description or the comments. Sorry, I cannot. I made these sets probably a couple months ago at this point. Sorry as I yawn. Okay, so here's the ghost. We are keeping this insanely simple. Okay, we're just flooding the cutie patootie white. We're going to let that crust over, and then we're going to add an adorable little face. So I'm always very proud of myself with my beginner sets. How much I'm able to accomplish with one consistency, my friends. And in this set, we're using only one bag of every icing. In some other sets, to have a little more control and refinement for some of the colors, I'll ask you to do 2 bags. One that's a lot smaller so we can cut a smaller tip, and then a bigger bag for flooding. This set, though, we are just rocking one size tip. Now, this is the candy basket. The more advanced one has cutouts for the face. And this one, we are keeping it simple, but we're still going to have fun and we're still going to have texture. So you know what we're doing. If you've been around for a minute, you know how obsessed I am with the crackle technique. And guess what, my friends? That's what we're doing. So, how much time it needs to dry is anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. It depends on how thick your icing is and the environment you're working in. For how long it's going to take to dry enough. You want it dry enough so that you can literally crack the surface of the icing. If it's more like indents, it's not dry enough. Give it another 5 minutes or so. I usually set a timer for 10 minutes and then see where I'm at after 10 minutes. In the winter, it typically just takes 10 minutes. In the summer, it can sometimes be more like 15 to 20. Here's another hack for this beginner class. So another philosophy I have with my beginner classes is I try to use as little extra decoration tools as possible. And in this case, so the more advanced class, we use sprinkles, which, yes, is like easier to apply, but then you have to buy sprinkles. If you have sprinkles, great, add sprinkles. But here, we're going to use what we have without having to buy extra, okay? So the way that you get definition like this in between dots of flood is you have to do it in what's the word? Sections? No, in like rounds. So we do one color at a time. Do not put the dots next to each other. Let them crust for about 10 minutes and then come back, okay? This here is the skull. And again, we're going to like super simplify things. So with the more advanced one, we did cutouts, but for this one, guess what? We're not doing cutouts. This is just so much easier. You can do cutouts with a flood, but I just decided no, because I wanted to keep this whole set really simple, really fast, and honestly, I think I did a stellar job at that. So pat self on back. And then this is all we're doing, really simple face. And we're going to add some eyes in a minute and a nose. Can't forget about the nose. And that's it. Now, I'm pretty sure that my eyes cratered. We'll see it in the final video. Sure did. But you know what? I think it kind of adds to the eye socket effect. Okay. This is the same cookie, but flipped upside down. How cool is that? This is my favorite flip of the set by far because you're literally flipping the cookie. If you can guess what this is already, props to you. Spoiler alert, this is a potion bottle. We're keeping it real simple here. We're only doing this in 2 sections. The more advanced one has so much more with the wet on wet. There's 2 sections to the top of the potion bottle. We're just gonna do a simple little polka dot bubble situation. And then we let that crust over for about 10 to 20 minutes. And there we go. This one is the cat. We're channeling some like orange tabby cat action here. Very similar start, obviously, to the bat. We are outlining and flooding. Now, obviously, also, my outlines are pretty precise, but if your outlines are wobbly or wonky, just use your scribe to fix them. You do have to work pretty quickly while the icing is still wet, okay? But it absolutely can be done. That's something that I always demonstrate in my classes is what it looks like or how do you fix it when your outline is just all wonky from the one consistency. Now we're just keeping it simple. In hindsight, maybe I should have done the eyes purple instead of white. What do you think? I don't know. I don't know. And then, okay, this is candy corn, which I know there's no yellow in it, but y'all, this was a sacrifice or a compromise I had to make to not include yellow. And you know what? There are candy corns that don't have yellow. No, it's not the traditional one. But this is a pretty common thing in the cookie sphere. If you're doing a Halloween set and you don't include yellow, you just make the candy corn whatever colors you have, my friend. I I don't know that I've ever seen a Halloween set that doesn't have orange in it. So the very least you have white and orange, and then you just add whatever other color you have. So again, to keep this more a little like beginner, we're just doing lines straight across for the sections. In the advanced beginner one, we do actual curved lines. So it just looks a little bit different. Flooding in sections again, you could do the white and the purple at the same time, but you have to really precisely place that white section, which I don't know. I didn't even do this perfectly and I did it one at a time, but I just can't imagine trying to like place the white first without like the reference of the orange section. Okay, this here is the candy. And I mentioned in the more advanced video that this is actually a circle. It's supposed to be a circle, but it's really hard to eyeball it. So I made it kind of more like an oval in the beginner set just cuz it's easier, I don't know, it's easier to pipe an oval in this situation, okay? Oh, okay. The tighter the swirl, the harder it is. So this is more beginner. So we're doing a looser swirl here. Just do whatever you can. Make sure you lift that bag off the surface. You can see it spread out a lot. Whoops. Let that crust over. And then guess what, friends? Guess what we're doing to the candy wrapper? Oh, do I hear crackle in the background? Yeah. Oh, I just crack myself up sometimes. Get it? Crack myself. Okay. We have just I need to leave the building for a second. Oh my god. Okay. Um again, just a trick to do something a little different with texture. I do crackle in my beginner sets a lot because it is one of the easiest ways to add texture and dimension to flood consistency, and all you need is any tool with a rounded end to it. I'm using a cheap scribe here from um Amazon. What I typically use is actually a fondant tool, but find a pen, a pencil, whatever with a rounded end to it, and you've got your crackle tool. We love that for us. How many more? Do I have 2? I don't know if I have 1 or 2 cookies left. Okay. This is the I keep saying poison apple, friends. That is why I needed green because I wanted this to give at least somewhat apple vibes. I don't know how much I succeeded, to be totally honest, but I certainly tried, okay? Sorry, blanked out there. So the green, we let that crust for probably more like 30 minutes, 30 to 60 minutes, and then we add this drip on top. Try to get it to the edge of the green as best as you can. I did let that crust a little bit before adding on the stem at the top here. Gosh, I'm really curious. We've got like less than a minute left. Am I actually doing another cookie in less than a minute? I didn't count. I stopped counting. Does someone keep counting? What did I forget? Did I forget anything? No. Okay. Whew. All right. That was the entire set of 12 designs. This is my Sweet Beginner Halloween online class. Again, go check out the link if you're curious. If you would like to do a beginner Halloween class but don't want to use cookie cutters, my beginner Halloween, all made with circles, is a great alternative. As always, I enjoyed walking you through this class. I hope you enjoyed listening. I hope you learned a thing or two. And also, I really hope that you try these yourself and then you let me know how it goes. Okay, everyone. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye.